got introduced to this company called Rosewell Audio, and they make a U87 clone. It's $350. And I have brought it to sessions and had LA engineers shoot it out, and they're like, I can't tell the difference. And I'm like, I know you can't. Neither can the audience. So, yeah, it's actually really easy to overspend. You can build a quality studio for under $500, excluding any like acoustic treatment, right? That's up to you whether or not you want to build a pillow fort or whatever. Yeah.
Sorry, I haven't figured out how to phrase this. How do you balance like a good, let's see, workspace with like acoustically treating your area? Like a lot of people work outside, like in the closets and stuff. But like, how does that work for live directed sessions or I don't know, that kind of thing? Or like, I also find like the idea of working in a closet pretty like demotivating.
Yeah, working in a closet can be really demotivating, especially if the closet's messy. Like it's just, like you just feel, I don't know, it's a bad feeling. So, I mean, like I started with a microphone in a carpeted room and I just put some stuff on the walls. Like that's where I started. Eventually, like started building like my own little booth with like moving blankets and stuff like that. You just go with it. Like you do what you got to do. Just like, you know, when you're fresh out of college and you're like, you know what, I'm eating beans and ramen this month because I'm just broke. And like that's the way, like that's where you are in life, and that's where you are in your career too.
But you'll be on camera sometimes, right?
No, almost very, very rarely. Very rarely will I ever be on camera. If I'm on camera, it's probably because I'm in a studio and they're like, you know, all right, we need face cam for this, so we're bringing you to our face cam rig. I'm very rarely on camera. Yeah.
Sorry, a lot of follow-up questions. Can you kind of define like live directed session then? Because I
okay.
Like, yeah.
So a live directed session would be if I'm in my booth, whatever that is, whether it's a closet or whether it's whatever, there's probably a director on Zoom or Source Connect, which is like kind of a more high fidelity audio program that we use, just listening to me talk and then giving me directions. We never have to see each other. Yeah, it's all audio. Yeah, I do not have to put on pants. If I don't want to put on pants, I don't have to put on pants.
Do pants help with the audio?
Pants,
No.
pants could be absorptive, yeah. I'll get someone else. Yeah, back here. Yeah.
For, like, this is kind of similar to the previous question, but is there any character, be it a legitimate character or just a, like, archetype that you, like, would die to face?
So, like, kind of like a dream role kind of thing?
Yeah.
I would love to be P6 main cast. That'd be pretty cool. Persona 6 would be cool. I would love to be like a main character in an Assassin's Creed, but that's never going to happen because I'm not British. I think that ship has sailed. Those are two characters I think I'd really like to play, two kinds of characters I like to play. I love villains in general. I don't get to play them a lot because my voice is generally like more on the wholesome side, I guess. Like my voice print doesn't lend it to villains. But I do really enjoy the archetype. They're a lot of fun because you can just go a little crazy. The few times I've played them, they are really, really, really fun. Yeah. What else? Yeah.
Out of all the characters you've cosplayed, who's your absolute favorite?
Well, I haven't cosplayed that many characters. I've done 2 Claude cosplays. I guess I've done like a gender bent Edelgard, technically, for like one little thing, and then I've done Risley. Rises is the most comfortable, I would say. I'd say that costume is probably my favorite, except that damn cape. The cape, and actually, if you look in the music video, slowly over the course of the any shot in the prison, like it starts here and it's ending up like halfway down my back, to the point where I was like, you can't use that shot. It looks like I'm wearing like a butt cape. But his costume was like the easiest to wear for sure. Claude's his war phase, really heavy. Like the material that she used was just really, really heavy. Like yours looks way more breathable than your academy phase, but like, you know, like that really billowy, like thick pants and like thick, it was really freaking hot. So I'd say Rise is probably the most comfortable. I mean, Summer Claude's was swim trunks. Okay. Yeah, I saw a hand shut up, yeah.
Who is a voice actor or voice actor that you met that you were super hyped to meet? Like during like a studio session or something like
You know, I didn't have so much like any starstruck moments. Back to the Lego thing though. Like when and it's a lot of times like, even like you tell me like who's the voice of Johnny Bravo, I'm like I had no idea, right? Like but it was Jeff Bennett, and I didn't know that Jeff Bennett was the voice of Johnny Bravo until like halfway through working with him for like a year, because it was just like, all right, we're all professionals in a room. It was cool to me. The only ones that like I really knew that I worked with on Lego and other projects, like I worked with Nolan and Troy Baker, Troy Baker and Nolan North, and that was cool to meet them, and like because I respected their work, getting a chance to see like, well, how do you approach in a more organic environment? Like how did you approach the role? And it was cool to see like how, because I knew their performance, how it kind of like got to there. So that was neat. Who else has, you haven't asked a question yet.
Are there any skills you still want to learn, or projects you really want to do and learn skills for?
Are there any skills I want to learn or projects, like do you mean outside of voice acting, or like do I want to learn how to like
you do a lot
throw a javelin or whatever?
You do like parkour and all these other things. Like, are there any skills you want to add to your skill set?
Man, I do kind of collect weird skills and hobbies, don't I? Let's see, like I'm a licensed pilot, I've done parkour, I've scuba dive. What else have I like really not, like I would like to be, I'd like to be fluent in a foreign language. I know a lot, like I'm like this much of a polyglot where I know a little bit of a lot of languages, but I've never approached fluency. That'd be cool. That also sounds like a lot of work. That'd be neat. Or becoming like a black belt in some discipline. Again, same thing with languages. I've dabbled in a lot of different like martial arts, but never like gone all the way. That'd be cool. Yeah.
Spin-off question, what language and what martial art?
Like what would I like to be fluent in, or like
Yeah,
or what?
just like maybe a language you go fluent in, or a martial art you be a black belt.
So for languages, I've studied in some capacity Russian, Arabic, German, and now a little bit of Japanese. I think it'd be cool to be fluent in Japanese. I don't know how like it might be useful in my career, but probably not. That'd be nice. Martial art. This is like real deep Zieja lore. I studied this discipline called Ishinryu, which is an Okinawan style of karate that really kind of only made its way to where I grew up in New Jersey. Some like New Jersey Marine went over to Okinawa and then like came back and started the school. I can't find it anywhere in the United States other than like really, really specific places. If I had to pick one, I would like go with my roots and become an Ishinryu black belt. But I can't find a dojo. Yeah?
Where's the best place to start applying for voice acting positions?
Where's the best place to start applying for voice acting positions? I'm going to give a whole talk about how to get into voice acting on Saturday. But there's three main ways to get work as a voice actor. Agency representation, which is further on in career. Casting websites, which are things like Casting Call Club, Voices.com, Voice123. Those are websites where people are like actively looking for voice actors, and so you can just jump on and start applying. Some of them have membership fees, some of them don't. Casting Call Club is a great way to just kind of like go and screw around. There's no barrier to entry there, so that means the projects can be wildly different in quality and scope. You can always look for student projects at like a local university, like a lot of people making like media or need a voice actor. Or you can direct market, which means you make your own demo, or you get a demo made and you start trying to pitch yourself to production houses and stuff like that. So that's really kind of like the quick and dirty of how to get work. Yeah?
If there were any of the intellectual properties that you've worked on in the past that you'd love to see adapted into a live action, what would that be, and are there any roles you'd love to play from those IPs in live action?
First of all, I want to ask, have you ever seen a live action adaptation? Because like, I don't need that baggage in my life.
Like One Piece was adapted into live action. It's phenomenal.
Which I haven't seen.
It's phenomenal.
On the whole though, 90% of the time, you're going to walk away disappointed. Assuming quality.
Yeah.
Three Houses would be cool in like a Game of Thrones style, right? Like if you could work it up into something that's less flippant than Three Houses was. My biggest issue with like Three Houses as a this is like, you know, it's T for teen, so it can't be Game of Thrones. But if you could push it, everyone was really casual about the fact that like lots of people are dying and there's a war, and like haha. But if you could like kind of dig into that, there's a lot of really cool themes that could be played out in a live action. If you maybe bump up the maturity rating a little bit. Yeah. Right behind you.
Okay, so if you're in like a session with a
I know I'll never be the same. Shook my world so hard again. Wish I washed away my sin.